You know that moment in life when you think, this can't possibly get worse, and then life taps you on the shoulder and whispers, "Watch me?" Yeah. That was me. In a Target parking lot, holding a glittery unicorn piñata, crying over iced coffee. It was my daughter's 5th birthday. My daughter. The one I carried. The one I delivered without meds because my husband said the epidural was too expensive. That daughter. 5 years old. A milestone. And I wasn't even invited to the party. Let me back up. I married into a family that believes boundaries are optional and manipulation is love. My mother-in-law, Barbara, or as I like to call her, the blonde dictator, has always had a flair for drama. When I first met her, she smiled with all her teeth but none of her soul. I thought it was Botox. Turns out it was just Barbara. She hated me from day one. Said I was too opinionated, which apparently is code for not a doormat. But my husband, Jake, used to defend me. Keyword, used to. After our daughter Ava was born, things got worse. Barbara insisted on being called Mommy B. I thought it was a joke. It wasn't. She showed up uninvited to Ava's first pediatric appointment. She made a copy of our house key, just in case of emergencies. One time, she rearranged Ava's nursery while I was out buying diapers. Jake said I was overreacting. Fast forward to last month. Barbara told me she was planning a little gathering for Ava's 5th birthday. Just a few family members. Nothing fancy. I offered to help. She smiled and said, "Don't worry, I've got it." That was the last I heard, until the day of the party. I walked into the kitchen and found Ava gone. No note, no texts, no sign of Jake. I called him. Voicemail. I called Barbara. Voicemail. I called his sister, Denise. Straight to voicemail. So I waited, and waited, until I checked Instagram. There she was. My daughter. Wearing a pink tulle dress I didn't buy. In a backyard filled with balloons I didn't blow up. Cutting a cake I didn't bake. Surrounded by people who weren't me. The caption? "Happy 5th birthday to our little princess. So blessed to have family that truly loves her. Our little princess. Family that truly loves her." I stared at the screen. Then at the untouched unicorn piñata in the passenger seat. And I laughed. A laugh that started in my chest and cracked out of my throat like lightning. It was official. I had just been banned from my own daughter's birthday party. The most tragic part? She didn't even know. They didn't tell her. Of course they didn't. They made it look like Mommy just didn't show up. And I knew, right then and there, this wasn't just Barbara's doing. Jake let it happen. No, Jake planned it. And that was when something inside me snapped. Not in the crying on the bathroom floor way. In the calculating, silent, dangerously calm way. They thought they were clever. They thought they won. But I was just getting started. Because if they were going to treat me like the villain, then maybe it was time I started acting like one. After the Instagram bombshell, I realized 2 things. 1, they were organized. And 2, they underestimated me. Big mistake. I might not have been invited to Ava's party, but I still had all the keys to the house. Literally. And a brain that's way too stubborn to give up. First order of business. Jake. I needed to know if he was an active player in this charade or just a passive spectator. I called him. No answer. I texted. Left on read. So I showed up at his office unannounced. Jake's office was the kind of place where CEOs parade around like they own the world. He looked surprised to see me. Probably thought I'd come crying or begging. Nope. Care to explain why I wasn't invited to my daughter's birthday party? I asked, voice calm but icy. He cleared his throat, shifting uncomfortably. It wasn't like that. Barbara said it was better if I didn't come. I finished for him. Yeah, sounds about right. He opened his mouth, but I cut him off. You know what? Forget this. You want to play family games? I'm about to change the rules. I left before he could say more. Next up, Barbara, the blonde dictator. She was the real mastermind, the puppeteer pulling strings behind those perfectly manicured nails. I started digging. Old emails, calendar invites, social media posts, the works. Turns out, Barbara had been planning this exclusive party for weeks. She even rented that huge backyard venue, because our tiny house, totally not suitable. All the invitations went out except one. Mine. But here's the juicy part. There was a loophole. Barbara, despite her icy persona, had a secret weakness. Her obsession with social media approval. She wanted the perfect family moment that would earn her likes and admiration from all her friends. And she wanted to control the narrative completely. So I created my plan. If Barbara wanted a perfect image, I'd give her a story to remember. If Jake wanted to hide me, I'd make sure everyone saw me. Step 1. The social media storm. I started posting. Every memory of Ava and me. The first time she said mama, our late night cuddles, the messy pancake breakfasts, the weird arts and crafts sessions that ended with paint on the ceiling. I tagged family members, old friends, anyone who would listen. Step 2. The party crash. I wasn't going to show up empty-handed. No, I crafted a little surprise that Barbara would never forget. I hired a local party clown. You know, the kind who's ridiculously cheesy, the kind kids love but adults secretly cringe at. And I told him exactly where and when Barbara's perfect party would be. But there was more. I ordered cupcakes with "Happy Birthday, Ava" from Mom, written in bright pink icing, delivered right to the party. And then, the pièce de résistance, a giant banner that read, "Family isn't just blood, it's love," draped across the entrance, visible from the street. When the day came, I showed up, not to crash silently, but to make a scene. The clown arrived first, honking his oversized horn and juggling flaming torches. Okay, maybe not flaming, but close enough. Barbara's face turned the exact shade of, "I regret everything." Jake looked like he wanted to disappear under the picnic table. Guests snapped photos and whispered. Phones were out. The cupcakes, delivered right to the table with my name on them. I smiled sweetly at Ava, who was confused, but delighted by the chaos. "Happy birthday, sweetheart," I said, kneeling down. Barbara tried to shush me, but I had the floor. "This is your mother," I announced. "The one you love, whether they like it or not." The best part? Jake had no words, no defense. Just the awkward silence of a man who'd just lost the family narrative. And that was when I knew. Barbara and Jake's little game had backfired spectacularly, because in trying to erase me, they only made me louder. So there I was, standing in the middle of a backyard that felt less like a party and more like a battlefield. The clown was juggling, the cupcakes were disappearing, and Barbara looked like she wanted to sink into the ground and never be seen again. Meanwhile, Ava was smiling, genuinely happy, and for once, I felt like I won. But the best part? The story didn't end there. Over the next few days, my little social media campaign exploded. Pictures and videos of me and Ava flooded my feed. Friends, neighbors, even strangers sent messages saying how much they admired my strength. I wasn't just Ava's mother. I was the mother, the one who refused to be erased. Jake? Well, Jake vanished like a ghost. Calls went unanswered, messages ignored. Turns out, the CEO of the family was terrible at damage control. Barbara tried to play the victim, posting a carefully worded apology about misunderstandings and family tensions, but nobody was buying it. Her followers dropped like flies. Her friends suddenly remembered how busy they were, but I wasn't done. You see, revenge isn't just about a public humiliation. It's about reclaiming your life. So I filed for full custody of Ava. Legal papers arrived at Jake's office before he even realized what was happening. Suddenly, the man who thought he could control everything was scrambling to keep what really mattered. At the custody hearing, I didn't just show up. I walked in with a folder of evidence, texts from Jake ignoring my calls, photos of Barbara's interference, and a heartfelt letter from Ava's preschool teacher praising our bond. The judge? Impressed? Jake's lawyer? Flustered. Barbara? Not invited. Custody was mine. It felt like the world shifted under my feet. Suddenly, the woman who was once too opinionated became the woman who won. And Ava? She thrived. No more secret parties. No more whispered, "Mommy didn't come." Just me, her, and a future that didn't include toxic whispers or stolen birthdays. Of course, Jake and Barbara tried to make a comeback. Barbara sent me passive-aggressive texts about grandmother rights. Jake tried to guilt-trip me with empty promises of changing. I smiled politely. My answer was simple. No thanks. Because sometimes the best revenge is the one where you just walk away. Confident, unbothered, and victorious. The final twist? I started a blog, Mommy Was Here, where I shared my story. It blew up. I got messages from women who had been erased, ignored, or locked out of their own lives. I became a voice for the invisible. Barbara's kingdom crumbled. Jake learned that you don't control a mother's love. And Ava? She's 5 now, turning 6 soon, with a party I planned myself. Pink tulle dress included, thank you very much. And guess who's the guest of honor? Her mother.